We walked into the adoption center looking for one child. We left with paperwork for Elias, a 7-year-old boy with cerebral palsy who hadn't spoken a single word in 3 years. The caseworker warned us before we met him. Elias is selective, she said carefully. What she meant was 7 families had already said no. He was sitting in the corner of the playroom when we entered, not playing, just watching the other kids with a worn stuffed rabbit clutched against his chest. One ear missing, the other barely hanging on. My husband knelt beside him and asked what the rabbit's name was. Elias stared at the floor, but his fingers, slowly, quietly, tapped the rabbit's chest twice. His own little answer, in his own little language. We took him home for a weekend trial. That first night, I checked on him at 2 a.m. and found him sitting straight up in bed, not crying, not calling for anyone, just waiting, like he already knew not to expect anyone to come. I sat beside him until morning. Neither of us said anything. We didn't need to. The turning point happened on day 4. Elias dropped his rabbit down the stairs. It tumbled all the way to the bottom landing. He froze, watching it, and I could see him calculating whether it was worth the risk of asking, whether asking was even allowed. I walked down, picked it up, and handed it back without a word. He looked at me for a long time. Then he did something he hadn't done in 3 years. He whispered, "Thank you." Just that. 2 words. I had to go to the kitchen so he wouldn't see me cry. 3 weeks later, his biological aunt filed a claim. She wanted custody. Suddenly, Elias stopped eating at the table. He'd take his plate to his room again. The rabbit disappeared under his pillow. Our lawyer told us the process could take 6 months. Every Thursday, Elias would ask the same question. Am I going back? Every Thursday, we said the same thing. This is your home. He never fully believed us. Not yet. The court ruled in our favor after 5 months. We didn't throw a party. Elias doesn't do well with noise and crowds. Instead, we built a blanket fort in the living room, just the 3 of us, and watched his favorite nature documentary about elephants. At some point, he fell asleep between us, rabbit tucked under his chin. My husband looked at me over his head and mouthed, "We did it." I nodded. We had. The surprises came quietly after that. One morning, I found Elias had drawn a picture of our family. Me, my husband, him, and the rabbit, and taped it to the fridge with a sticky note that read, "My people." His therapist told us he'd started initiating conversation during sessions. He asked her if rabbits dream. She said probably yes. He said, "Good. Ours deserves nice ones." This morning, he came downstairs holding a new rabbit he'd saved up to buy himself. Small, brown, with both ears still attached. He set it next to the old one on the breakfast table and said, "The new one is for you, so you have one too." He went back to eating his toast like it was nothing. My husband picked it up and held it the rest of breakfast. Sometimes people ask how we managed adopting a child with a disability, the therapy, the legal fight, the slow mornings and the quiet victories. Truth is, Elias never needed us to manage anything. He just needed us to stay.